At the same time, the hero was still thinking about her. Using his friend's dog form as an excuse, he decided to visit the clinic. When the heroine saw him, she was thrilled. Thinking it was fate bringing them together, she kept stealing glances at him, smiling to herself. But the hero grew annoyed seeing the clinic full of men. Watching her laugh with other customers made him jealous. Meanwhile, the detective was still waiting and noticed the hero. He focused on him, feeling competitive. The hero was shocked when he saw the detective. He recognized him as a prince from his past life 500 years ago. He remembered him clearly. But the detective was just staring because the hero was as handsome as he was and seemed like the only real competition in the room. Soon after, the heroine learned that the dog from the accident had died. She was heartbroken, not for the owner, but for the poor dog that now had no one. The detective saw an opportunity and offered to adopt the dog. But when the heroine learned he was single and a detective, she refused. Thinking he wouldn't have time to care for the dog properly, the detective insisted he was responsible enough and asked her to give him a chance. To prove it, "I'll visit the dog every day," he promised. But dear viewer, we both know he wasn't talking about the dog. The hero watched all this, burning with jealousy, as the detective and heroine grew closer. When it was finally his turn, the heroine was excited to see him and even touched up her makeup to impress him. But he was frustrated, thinking she flirted with every man who came in. Without saying much, he left abruptly, leaving her confused. Meanwhile, a strange man entered the restaurant near the mountain. The restaurant owner recognized him immediately. He was the criminal who had kidnapped the nurse. Later, the detective received a report of a fire at the restaurant. When he arrived, he found the owner dead. Shortly after, he got another call. The second witness had also been killed. Back at the station, the detective discussed the case with his team. He couldn't believe both witnesses died on the same day. It couldn't be a coincidence. They realized the criminal must have killed them to cover his tracks. The detective grew anxious about the third witness, who had been with the nurse the day she disappeared. But he didn't know that person was the heroine. That night, the heroine was walking home, taking a shortcut through an isolated path. She sensed someone following her and, terrified, started to run. But she tripped and fell to the ground. The criminal approached, intending to harm her. But just in time, the hero arrived and saved her. He fought the criminal, knocking him to the ground and almost pulling off his cap to reveal his face. But suddenly, shards of glass began falling toward the heroine. The hero rushed to shield her with his body. The glass struck his head, but the criminal used the distraction to escape. The heroine was stunned by what the hero had done. What shocked her even more was that he was completely unharmed. She was used to anyone who cared for her getting hurt. She moved closer to him, inspecting him carefully. "Wait, no broken ribs? No fractured arms? You're totally fine? Are you even human?" The hero reassured her he was okay. She was so overwhelmed with relief that she hugged him, thinking the curse had finally broken. But then she realized what she was doing. She quickly pulled back, thanked him for saving her life, and walked away. Later, she met her friend at the restaurant and told her everything that had happened. She thought the man who had chased her was just another obsessive admirer, so she hadn't reported it to the police. She admitted she hoped the hero would turn out to be her destined love. But her friend reminded her, "You've still got 5 climbs left. Don't forget, you need to go up that mountain and come down again. Then the curse will break." The next day, the heroine climbed the mountain again, praying, "Please let the curse break. I'll accept any man you send me, as long as it's him. I don't want anyone else." But when she descended, she was shocked to find that the restaurant had burned down and the owner was dead. The police were already investigating the cause of the fire. Afterward, the heroine returned to the clinic and called the hero, making up an excuse just to see him. She told him to bring his dog in for a free checkup. But the hero was still annoyed with her. He spoke coldly, then hung up, leaving her feeling embarrassed. She realized she might have been pushing herself on him. However, after a bit of hesitation, the hero decided to take his friend, still in dog form, and head to the clinic. At the same time, the detective showed up to check on his newly adopted dog. The hero grew irritated seeing the detective enter before him, especially when he caught them joking around together again. It made him jealous. When it was finally his turn, the heroine told him his dog needed more exercise to lose weight. The dog gave her a pitiful look. The detective said, "What do you think I am? Overweight or something?" As she spoke, the heroine noticed a scratch on the hero's face. She quickly grabbed the first aid kit and began treating the wound, her gentle touch making the hero both nervous and happy. Then, out of the blue, she said, "How about we grab dinner together?" The hero, of course, agreed instantly and invited her to the fancy restaurant he always went to with his friends. Her friend later advised her, "You need to pay for dinner yourself to show him you're serious and stop yourself from falling for him." The heroine agreed, without knowing she was walking straight into trouble. That evening when she saw him, she was struck by how handsome he looked. "All right," she said confidently, "I'm treating you tonight. Order whatever you want and relax." The hero didn't need to be told twice. He started ordering everything on the menu. The heroine's eyes widened as she realized how expensive the food was. She thought to herself, "Did I really need to open my mouth like that?" But they started eating together, and the tension eased. During dinner, the hero asked her about her ideal type. She teased him, saying she once had a crush on one of her clinic's clients. The hero's jealousy was obvious, but she quickly added, after finishing the meal, the heroine nervously went to pay the bill, worried she wouldn't have enough to cover their feast. But to her surprise, the waiter told her the bill had already been settled. The hero had paid before she even got up. She stormed back to him, fuming. "You're embarrassing me! I said I'd pay. Why would you do that? Do you think I can't handle it, or what?" She left, upset, thinking he'd paid to distance himself from her. Both of them went home that night, frustrated. They liked each other, but each thought they'd been rejected. The next day, the heroine climbed the mountain, praying that the curse would break and the hero would fall for her. Meanwhile, the hero attended the funeral of his old lover. Guilt weighed heavily on him. He still hadn't. After the funeral, he went to the mountain, where he unexpectedly ran into the heroine as she was descending. She was surprised and delighted to see him. "Did my prayers just get answered?" she joked, running up to him and snapping a quick photo with her phone to keep his picture. The hero was taken aback by her boldness and tried to grab her phone to delete the photo, but in the scuffle, she tripped and accidentally fell into his arms. "Oh, what a move, director. Pure cinematic brilliance." Embarrassed, the heroine invited him for a drink to apologize. He agreed, and they went to a nearby cafe, where the drinks loosened them up even more. The heroine finally opened up about her curse. She explained that she had to climb the mountain 1,000 times, and now she only had 3 left. After that, she was destined to meet her true love. She asked him why he seemed so closed off to love. The hero shared that he had loved someone long ago, even though he was warned it was dangerous. That person ended up seriously. Ever since, he'd sworn off love. The heroine was moved by his story and felt a deep sympathy for him. Later, as they walked back to the car, they waited for the parking attendant to bring the keys. The hero noticed a mark on the attendant's hand, the same mark as the person who had attacked the heroine. The hero grabbed the attendant, ready to turn him over to the police, but the attendant broke down and confessed everything. He revealed who had ordered him to do it and led them straight to the culprit. It was the owner of the rival clinic across from the heroine's. The woman admitted she did it to scare the heroine away. Ever since the heroine opened her clinic, all the customers had stopped going to hers. She apologized, begging for forgiveness. The hero wanted to turn her in, but the heroine forgave her, feeling sorry for her instead. As they walked away, the hero asked about her life. The heroine revealed that she was an orphan. She was found as a baby on the doorstep of an orphanage and grew up there. "Boy I ever loved was a kid from the orphanage. He broke his finger just because I liked him, but I won't give up. I'll climb that mountain 1,000 times if that's what it takes to find my love and live happily ever after." The hero was touched by her story. And honestly, dear viewers, I'm getting emotional too. He dropped her off at home and they said their goodbyes. But that night, the hero's memories from 500 years ago began to flood back. He remembered how he and his friend had been love angels with wings. The hero was a prince among them, shooting love arrows to bring people together. There was a servant in the royal palace who often prayed, wishing to meet her soulmate. On her 1,000th prayer, she met the prince. At that moment, the servant realized she wanted him to become king, because he was kind and handsome. The prince was overjoyed by her words and felt drawn to her. Seeing them together, the hero decided to shoot a love arrow at them. But just as he aimed, the servant was able to shoot a love arrow at the prince. The prince was able to. The servant smiled at him instead, making him nervous. His shot missed and struck himself in the heart instead. To his surprise, he had fallen in love with her. The next day, the king died, and the queen plotted to eliminate the prince, so the servant overheard and rushed to warn the prince. But the guards saw her, and as they chased her into the forest, they shot her in the shoulder. She fell off a cliff. The hero wanted to save her, but his mentor appeared saying he ordered the hero to stay out of it. But the hero refused to listen, so his mentor imprisoned him. The mentor surrounded him with a ring of fire, but the hero endured the pain, forcing his way out until his wings burned away. Meanwhile, guards stormed the prince's palace to kill him. Suddenly, the detective snapped awake from his dream, confused. He didn't realize he had just dreamt of his past life as the prince. One of his team members walked in, telling him they'd found the address of the prince. He said who was with the nurse on the day of her disappearance. The detective rushed to the address, but accidentally entered the apartment of the heroine's neighbor. When he questioned her, she said she'd never been to the mountain. Frustrated, the detective realized he had the wrong person. Meanwhile, the heroine stepped out of her house and was shocked to see the hero waiting for her. He approached, placed his hand on her shoulder, and said, "I'm the man you've been waiting for." The heroine's heart raced. She was thrilled, thinking he was finally about to confess his feelings. But he crushed her hopes when he added, "I'll set you up on a date until you'll find the right guy." The heroine stared at him in disbelief. "Could you please move your hand?" she said, annoyed. When he asked her about her ideal man, she snapped, "I want someone tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, a YouTuber even. Someone who doesn't get hurt when glass falls on his head. You know, like you blockhead." But the hero just didn't get it at all. He promised to help her find someone who met her. The heroine was furious. "God gave you everything except brains," she muttered as she stormed off, frustrated that he didn't realize how much she liked him. When she got home, she vented to her friend, who reassured her, "Maybe he's just pretending to be clueless to test you. I'm sure he'll come around and confess." And sure enough, the hero showed up later, and the heroine began to believe her friend was right. She asked him directly, "Are you trying to protect me? Or did you find my soulmate yet?" The hero replied, "I just don't want you to be alone. I want to see you happy." His words touched her deeply. "So, does that mean you like me?"